intimate relationships. It don't matter if you gay or straight, regardless of what your sexual preference is. Like, when I talk to y'all, I speak to y'all from a space of being able to like understand and be practical and be real about life and interactions with other human beings. So it's like number one thing you got to kind of understand is if you in a relationship where we don't duck the tough conversations, like we don't run from the elephant in the room, like we don't operate in a space where when it's time to talk about or have the difficult conversations, we don't put them off, act like we super busy, fake like we tired, pretend like we don't want to speak on it, act like we want to avoid conflict just to skip around talking about real shit. If you in a relationship where, and this cannot be something where it's only true for you, because of course if it's only true for one party in the relationship, your ass really ain't no relationship anyway. So you cannot sit here and say, hey, I'm in a mature relationship or love, I think that's me, because the stuff I'm about to tell you only applies to you. It got to apply to both parties, right? So if you in a relationship and y'all are both open and willing to have those difficult conversations, the ones that seem like, they deal with this shit that people really don't want to talk about. The stuff that may make you feel uneasy, but it needs to be addressed because obviously one or both parties is bothered by it. Y'all understand what I'm explaining? That's number one. Number one, you in a relationship or a situation with somebody and y'all willing to confront any elephants in the room, like instead of avoiding the hard conversations, like y'all are emotionally mature enough to address the shit that needs to be addressed. Rather it's one or both of y'all being fucked up financially, rather it's, one or both of y'all not performing right when it comes to sex, or, one or both of y'all checking out at key times, one or both of y'all struggling with bill paying, one or both of y'all, fucking up when it comes to parenting. A relationship that is mature, like a relationship that is headed in the right direction. Both parties are willing to have the difficult conversations about stuff that may make you feel like, well, I'm embarrassed to talk about this, or my partner may be embarrassed if I bring this up, but you're willing to bring it up just from a mature space, and they willing to discuss it if it's something that you feel like is a real concern. Exactly. Got to be real with one another. Got to be willing to have the dialogue, have the conversations about things that aren't easy. So if you just hopped on this live, we discussing, I'm giving, several things that let you know, several signs, several key things that if going on in a relationship, chances are y'all are in a mature relationship. Like shit is headed in the right direction. So number one, being willing to address the difficult things, the conversations that may make you feel uneasy or embarrassed. Shit that like a nigga need to tell your ass. Shit that your lady need to probably sit you down and talk about, and you willing to discuss that shit. That's number one. Number two, you able to have nonviolent communication to express your emotions. Some of y'all, you don't know how to not get aggressive. You don't know how to not get, outside of your normal everyday character when it comes to discussing things that you feel a way about. You lack maturity. If you're in a relationship where you're able to do this, meaning I can be upset or I can disagree with stuff and it's not going to come out in a violent or an aggressive manner for me to talk about it. If you can operate this way and your partner operates this way, y'all in a mature space. Your relationship, chances are, is going in the direction of being, mature. And like I said, I have a Zoom coming tomorrow night just on discussing the 5 stages of relationships. If you're in a relationship, I really encourage you to get in it because it will help. So number one, you willing to discuss, have those difficult conversations in a relationship without running from them, without pretending, without ignoring the elephant in the room. Those, uncomfortable, sometimes embarrassing, sometimes they make you nervous type conversations that need to be had. Like being in a relationship and your ass always end up messing up your money, and we got to sit around and talk. We got to sit down and talk about this shit. And it's uncomfortable because, you know, nobody likes to admit that, hey, like, I'm fucking up. But, you know, it needs to be had sometimes. The second thing is you are able to express how you feel about your emotions or a situation or how you're feeling without getting violent or aggressive. Somebody, I need to get out of the relationship. Y'all crazy, man. These is the type of people that they know how to communicate to their partner from a space where they are mature enough to understand that your emotions start within you. So when you're expressing to your partner or somebody else how you feel, it needs to be I statements, not you. A lot of people, y'all communication on your emotions turn violent because you use the term you too much. Like it's always you to your partner. Well, you made me feel like this, or you did this. Well, I find it funny how you, instead of starting with I feel like blah, because that shit originated within you. Y'all understand what I'm explaining? Like being able to communicate what you feel in a non-violent way. That shows that you're mature. And if both parties in the relationship are able to do this, your relationship, chances are, is headed in a mature direction. Exactly, Erica. Being able to express your emotions without getting, some of y'all, boy, a bitch go to ask you how you feel, or y'all start talking about that shit that got you upset, bitch, you damn near ready to fight every time. It could be some old shit. And truth be told, like non-violent communication is one of the most like potent, like one of the most important things for relationships that last long term. It's a part of management of emotions. Definitely. I hope y'all understanding what I'm explaining. I'm trying to give y'all a chance to process this shit. Somebody say, how you have that conversation with the person who can't communicate on a mature level? You're not in a mature relationship. You can't, is the answer to that question. That's why I'm saying the stuff that I'm naming right now got to be shit that both parties are on for you to call the relationship mature. The next thing is, and a lot of y'all struggle with this, and this goes with what I just said about when you communicating how you feel, because feelings originate within you. It's something that is inside of you. Being, you know, responsible for your own contentment, meaning like the mood or the aura that you in, whether you happy, sad, your vibrations, your energy. Being willing to admit that that is your responsibility. A lot of y'all in relationships and you're blaming the other person for your unhappiness or your happiness. Mature people understand my contentment, my temperament, my energy, my aura, my vibe as a person begins with me. Like, it is my responsibility. A lot of y'all in relationships and the shit is not mature because your happiness lies with the other person, which is not how this shit works. Like a lot of y'all, you in relationships and you waiting for your partner to fix certain stuff in order for your happy to be fixed. Or you waiting on them to fix certain parts of your life as if they responsible for you as an adult. You are responsible for your own contentment, like your own aura, your own space, your own moods are your responsibility. I hope y'all genuinely understanding what I'm explaining, because this shit is key for relationships to really be long lasting. This is the stuff that's like missing, and it has to be good on both parties' end. A lot of y'all, you expect the people you with to read your mind. You expect them to just know how you feel and fix it. But that shit is unhealthy like a motherfucker. It's immature like a motherfucker. It is your job to be able to express in a non-violent way what you're feeling. It is your job to be able to uphold and keep your shit together in difficult conversations in relationships. Another thing is mature relationships. You look for ways to help one another. Like, you look for ways to be able to, bring something to the table from both ends. A lot of y'all in relationships and you get upset about a person feeling like, they ain't losing nothing by leaving you alone or walking away. But truth be told, when you really be real about the shit and practical and mature, you don't bring shit to the table that really got to do with real life stuff. Somebody said, what if they get mad at you for what you feel? You definitely should join my Zoom tomorrow night. So I got a Zoom tomorrow night at 8:30, and it's on the stages of relationships. The 5 stages of relationships. And it's just going to give you an understanding for the different seasons that relationships go through so that you can understand why you're probably getting some of the shit you're getting, like what you just commented.
Here's what you need to know about Chromebooks. Chromebooks are powerfully simple.
I'm telling y'all some real shit. And you know what? It's something that, and I plan on doing a live just on this, on patterns. But like mature relationships, this is like 2 partners helping one another, like, overcome the complacency and the entanglement in the patterns that they don't need anymore. Like, some stuff you will find with human behavior is just conditioned. Like, they're doing it not because they mean anything by it, but because they used to doing it, because they've seen it done so much in front of them in their upbringing or in relationships they saw, based on the type of community or background they come from or space they've been growing and existing in. Like, a lot of times you got to be real with yourself. If the people around you ain't helping you grow, if the person you in a relationship with ain't helping you grow, it's not good for you and it's not mature. With maturity comes growth. I'm telling y'all some real ass shit. This one gonna sting some of y'all a little bit. Mature relationships that are healthy and going in a positive direction, like, y'all allow each other to enjoy life outside of the relationship. Some of y'all, something is wrong with you. The way that you feel like the person's life is supposed to be centered around their interaction with you. This is like on that monogamy video when I talked about how a lot of y'all females want a nigga to make y'all they world. But bitch, you don't even have enough going on for a person to just stop everything else they got going on socially and just focus on you. You're not that bright, bitch. Your conversations aren't that enlightening or educating for a bitch to just solely only talk to you and rely on you for their social fulfillment. You gotta be okay from a mature space for your partner to have some sort of life outside of the relationship. And this goes for male and female. It's not just female. Because some of you niggas, you want a bitch to only call you, only talk to you. But nigga, you don't even know enough for you to be a bitch only friend. Like, for you to be a bitch only companion as far as just socializing. Y'all want a bitch to get off the internet. Don't call your sister. Don't talk to them over there. Yeah, they ain't for you. So, bitch, you only want me to talk to you, but you barely got a high school education, nigga. Like, and I ain't seen you do nothing spectacular yet. I love you to death, but why the fuck would I focus all my attention on just your ass? I'm never gonna grow. And you know that you don't know that much. So you wrong for even trying to get, we gotta talk about the elephant in the room. Some of y'all, the person you with, the education level is not that high. You might want to have a conversation about that. This is relationship maturity. Having the difficult conversations. Being real that I'm with a dumb nigga and we got some work to do. You got to be honest with yourself. It is not mature for you to not be okay with somebody having a life outside of the relationship. And healthy, mature people encourage their partners to have stuff going on besides just them. It's stupidity. It ain't even manipulation. It's stupidity. For some of y'all, You realize that's you. You know, you own a person's ass, and you bother them so much about them just having some sort of life outside of the relationship. And then this next one, a lot of y'all women got it bad. But mature relationships, people where both parties are operating from a mature space, they will pick and choose their battles based on picking compromise over just arguing or getting a point across or speaking their mind on a particular topic. Couples that understand life and understand, like, you know, what we doing is really about problem solving and growth. Like, they will choose compromise over just trying to be right. They will choose, like, let's settle our differences over let me make a point. Or let me get my point across. Or let me just get how I feel out. If there is a solution we can come to without expressing all this excessive shit that really ain't gonna split us up in the end, I'd rather take that. Some of y'all, you can't do it. You can't do it to save your life. You don't know how to pick and choose battles. You don't know how to let unworthy stuff go. If you don't know what unworthy means, you need to look that shit up. Unworthy battles. Be willing to pick compromise over that shit. Thank you, somebody, for typing that. You definitely can only use this shit, or this only matters if you in a space where both parties are operating like this. It means nothing if you the only one doing this shit I'm naming. It's definitely about mind over matter, but it's also weighing out, like, the shit that shouldn't even matter and the shit that should. Some of y'all, you spend the majority of your relationship expressing how you feel about unworthy shit. Shit that really, when you look at the bigger scheme and what matters for y'all growth in the relationship, the stuff you keep trying to talk about is not even conversation worthy. Some of y'all, you always got to say something about everything. Sometimes you got to choose compromise. You got to choose an understanding. You got to choose, you know, deaden some shit. Sometimes sitting down and working through stuff is just both of us agreeing to let it go. That's some of the realest shit a bitch gonna ever tell you. Sometimes in relationships, even when them bitches is toxic, like even when them bitches going in a mature direction, sometimes you really, for the sake of your sanity, for the sake of y'all even having a piece of chance of making it, you gotta be willing to let some shit go on both ends. Just let it go. Not let it slide. Literally, let it go. I hope y'all genuinely understand that last piece of advice. And the last thing is growth. When you in a relationship that is mature, there is a want and a constant yearning for growth. You constantly bringing each other knowledge. You constantly pouring positivity into one another. You're constantly willing to confront the uneasy conversations and the shit that's unworthy, the shit that don't matter for growth, that don't matter for us really moving forward. We learn to let that shit go completely. Not let it slide and bring it back up later on when you're getting your feelings about something else, but literally let it go because it is unworthy of our energy. The thing about a lot of y'all is you struggle to let stuff go because you don't know how to manage your emotions, and feelings will always make you think you should hold on to things that you shouldn't. Some of y'all should type that. Feelings and emotions will always have you feeling like holding on to some shit that you shouldn't is the right thing to do. Relationships, certain niggas, certain bitches, certain jobs, certain conversations, certain hurt. When you sit in your feelings and you don't think practical and all you worry about is how it made you feel, you know, coming from an emotionally driven space, you will always hold on to shit that your practical mind will tell you ain't even worthy of this type of variation.
Do you ever wonder that there's more to this life than just mindless killing and bloodlust?
Yeah.
It ain't even, you know what, Sweet Jones? It's not saying fuck it and let it go. It's literally saying, is this shit paying our bills? Is it stopping our bills from getting paid? Is it making us more healthy or less healthy? Is it jeopardizing the well-being of our children, or is it making our kids safer? Is it going to get our car payment paid? Is it going to help cover the car insurance? Is it going to put us in a better space with our credit? Is it going to help us with our say? A lot of the stuff that couples be going back and forth, it occurs in a certain stage of a relationship. And again, I'm doing that relationship Zoom tomorrow night at 8:30 on the 5 stages of relationships. And it fits with this particular stage, but a lot of y'all got to grow the fuck up. You got to grow up. You got to mature individually in order to operate from a mature space in a relationship. Letting stuff go really don't have to do with just saying fuck it. It has to do with understanding why it needs to be let go. Release what does not serve you. If you're trying to get in my Zoom tomorrow night, text the number in my bio. It's $100 to join the Zoom. If you've been in one of my previous Zooms, you know you get the $20 discount. So it's only $80. Again, we're talking about the 5 stages of relationships. The shit will help you see if you're in a relationship or if you're out of one. It will help you see a lot of the shit that was going on from a let me pull myself out and just see what goes on in the cycles of relationships, because it goes through the get together to the next stage, to the next stage, to the next stage. And a lot of y'all, you right at like that 3rd stage, a lot of fuck shit is going on and you trying to figure it out. You trying to figure one another out. And you know, just get in the Zoom. If you feel like you need to know more about what I'm talking about, get in the Zoom. For those of y'all in my close friends, I will be dropping some of the gems on y'all tomorrow, you know, just off of being a part of my close friends. If you want to be a part of my close friends, DM me. If I see your DM, I'll get around to getting you the information to let you in. I am being picky and choosy about who I allow in there, because they are getting extra energy out of me. And I'm able to see their comments and shit right away. So some of y'all with the sideways stuff, I really don't want you in my close friends. If you need a one-on-one, text the number in my bio, and my girls on my booking team will get you booked. I do one-on-ones every day of the week. Couple one-on-ones, I do those as well. I had a great one-on-one earlier with a couple. It was so dope to see them like care about their relationship enough, and they was like so mature. The way they sat in each other's space and expressed the different things from, you know, family members being in their business, and you know, jealousy coming from loved ones as far as their relationship going in the direction where they look solid and it bothers certain people, just, you know, just certain shit. And I like the way they own their shit. I love the way she allowed her husband to talk and he allowed her to express how she felt without, you know, I'm looking at their faces so I can tell like you're not bothered that she's speaking on how she feels, and you're not bothered that he's speaking on how he feels. The shit is important. It's mature. It's what needs to happen. It's the only way growth occurs. The best way to get your DM answered if you got like a question about relationships or something is to book a one-on-one. Text the number in my bio. Let the girls on my booking team know what type of conversation you're trying to get into with me, what time frame. They can tailor make that shit to fit your budget, whatever. Again, 8:30 tomorrow night. I got a Zoom on the 5 stages of relationships. Definitely going to be worth it. The game is definitely going to be valuable. And like I said, if you're my close friends, I'm going to give you bits and pieces of this shit, you know, just on the house. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy y'all night.